Part 3 of the reunion was by far my favorite part. But this is also the very last episode of this season of Atlanta, at least on this podcast. If they do a Secrets Revealed, I won't be recapping it. But I hope they do a Secrets Revealed because I could definitely use some more content. Welcome to She Speaks Bravo, by the way. Yeah, this is the last episode of the season for me and for Kendrick, but not to fret because he's coming back for Potomac, and I'm super pumped about this season of Potomac. If you are new here, which would be super wild if you decided to make the last episode of Atlanta your first time here, but hey, you know what? Do you? Think about subscribing. I'm finishing up Beverly Hills and Southern Charm and covering Salt Lake City, Potomac, obviously, and Winter House. And if some fun true crime comes up, I'll be covering that too. I did just recap The Real Bling Ring and also Sins of Our Mother from Netflix. If any of the new stuff coming up, like if Winter House is a dud, or I don't know, I doubt Salt Lake City will be a dud, but I don't know, Jen Shaw is going to drive me absolutely crazy, screaming about her innocence for an entire season. So if I need a reprieve from that, I might drop something and pick up a vintage Vanderpump Rules season, because I started doing that a while ago and just dropped it because I didn't have time. And those are fun. But we'll see, TBD. So yeah, think about subscribing. But if you are already subscribed, thank you so much for your support. And I hope you're doing well. I love you. And let's get Kendrick in here for this final recap of Atlanta. My name is Emily, and I have been watching Bravo TV as a form of self-care for over a decade. Needless to say, I'm a complete mess. Subscribe and follow along for painfully insightful recaps about Bravo, true crime, and other great TV. Hit that bell. Everybody, I'm telling Kendrick about the first time I listened to his podcast and knew that I was obsessed with his podcast. You were covering RHOA, and I know that's like, oh God, it was a dark season, but you were talking about Garth, and you were like, okay, so Luann keeps talking about Garth. Garth is going to be here. Garth is this, Garth is that. And then we meet Garth. Regular ass Garth.
I was so not impressed by
and
Garth.
You go, I mean, he's looking real regular. I was cracking up, and I then became like yours and Bravo Wild Black's like personal PR person, because I would just screen record and post to my stories like, you guys have to listen to them. So yes, I was extremely nervous the first time I asked you to record with me.
I remember the first time we recorded, it was before like I had to take my like little medical break, I think. Yeah, because like we went on and then I think
we recorded twice before.
And then, and I came back. I'm like, I'm alive, people. I'm alive.
Yeah, it was actually really sweet because Kaya reached out to me and was like, hey, FYI, Kendrick's okay. And I was like, good, because I'd actually been wondering.
Mm-hmm. It was
we had like an SOS out. Like it was sweet to see the community come together like that.
Oh my God, it was like the best thing in the world. I literally like got out for those that don't know, like I had a whole like episode, like I deal with like, well, I kind of deal with like kidney stuff every now and then. And so I didn't know like my blood sugar, because I had like a sore throat and I could not shake it for like days. And I'm like, oh God. So like water, it was to the point where like water started tasting funny to me.
What did it taste like?
It's like aluminum, almost like some kind of metal.
That's what they say.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like I was like, this is the gross. So like I love, you know me, my Love Island water bottle is always right here. I love water. So like I couldn't drink water. So I'm like, okay, I've got to drink something to stay hydrated. Otherwise I'm just gonna like expire. So like biggest mistake, what I didn't know how much like so much orange juice and Gatorade, like all this stuff, I didn't know it could raise your blood sugar like that much. My blood sugar got to like in this like an astronomical number. And so like I ended up like going unconscious for like a while. Like I think I was in like a mini coma for like 2 days in the hospital. And like so I woke up on my mom's birthday, and the craziest thing in the world. So she was just like flipping ecstatic out. Yes. It was like the oh my God. But I was like in the hospital for a while. It ended up like being like kidney like took a big hit, but like started, had to wait a while for it to finally get better. And so like I had to do like dialysis for like 4 months, and so finally like, okay, you're good enough. You can come off now. I'm like, thank God, because most people do not come off of it, right? Most people do not come off of it. So I was like, okay, praise God, I'm off of that now. And I'm back. But I started like, even when I was like weak, I was like, I got to get back to, that's where my mind was. I'm like, everyone's going to forget about me. I've got to start podcasting again. Like this almost like a drug, but
I know. I know.
I couldn't help it.
We kept your memory alive though.
Yes,
we did.
Can I tell you what's so funny? I almost feel like my Instagram like would have completely died during that time, but like I posted the most random reel. It was just like, it was Spider-Man No Way Home was coming out Spider-Man No Way Home was coming out in like 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. And so I posted just like a reel. It was like a compilation of like some main tweets with like the main people in the movie. So it was like Tom Holland, Benedict Cumberbatch, Zendaya. And so like I posted that. I remember getting my phone back, like when I was like, bring my phone up here, I want my phone, when I was in the hospital. And like I remember seeing the amount of likes and views that reel. I was like, I have never like gone viral. Like, why is this going viral? What is happening? And I looked, that thing had like 370 some thousand views on. I was like, what is happening? Like, I couldn't fathom. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I thought like somebody had like put up in like in memoriam of me, and they were like, go like his last post. And I'm like, what is happening? What did I miss? It's so random. Tom Holland kept me alive. That's why I love Marvel now. Boom. Full circle, people.
Go like his last post.
I was thinking the most random stuff. Like, what is happening?
That actually is really funny.
Oh my God.
So Did you ever watch 30 Rock?
Yes.
It's like when Jenna Maroney, like when they're like, stay dead, they think you're dead. And so they like do like a whole memorial for her, but then she can't stay dead. She like comes out from she's like, not dead, guys.
It's like alive. On Friends, like Ross's funeral, when like everyone was like coming to visit him. The girls like, oh my God, I always thought it was so hot in college. He was like, me too. She's like, what the hell is happening?
Oh God.
Jeez. This is an Atlanta episode, intro. Everyone.
this is yeah. Sorry, that was a good cold open.
Yes, there we go.
A great cold open.
Live from New York.
That was good. Well, speaking of, let's just get right into the recap now. That was a great intro.
Love it.
I like that. I like that they're still on FaceTime with Anthony. And
oh God,
Andy tries to get what he can out of it. He's like, okay, shut up. Did you at one point say Ralph was gay? And Anthony's like, let me milk this for all I can, because I may be on camera, even though they make sure he's not on camera. They don't even. He's like, maybe at one point in time, but I don't remember. And then Drew, he don't remember. He don't remember. And then Anthony's like continuing, but do I think that Drew needed a storyline? Absolutely. And he just goes, thank you. Click.
Bloop. Get out of here. Get this guy off of our screens. Bad news. Doesn't care who. Flip. What did Beyonce? Flip flop, flippy flip flopping ass bitch. He's a flip flopper, people.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
And so they're like, did you hang up? He's like, yeah, shut up, guys. So he goes, so excuse me, Drew. He just admitted to saying Ralph was gay. I love Drew. Drew is the epitome of deny facts no matter what, as long as it proves your point. She goes, he said he don't remember. Literally everyone goes, he said maybe I did. Drew, everybody says it, like everybody gets involved. And Sheree goes, well, he said that you didn't pay him either. And then Sheree brings up the DM that Marlo got about some chef not getting paid. And Drew's like, that's someone that didn't even work for me. I have cash apps with people wanting to send me sex tapes from you. Sheree without missing a beat. Well, you should receive it because I would love to see that. Andy loved it. Andy ate that up. Andy was so happy. Well,
Can
you
I
should
just say,
receive it.
Yeah, I believe both of those things, just
Me
to go
too.
on record. Absolutely believe both. I believe because me and you at an early episode in the season, we literally said, why does Drew have so many different chefs that are coming to her house? And it didn't seem to be like, it's clearly she's paying some of them. I don't know if she's paying all of them though, but
I would have to agree. Doesn't it feel like they come in and Drew would be the person that's like, we're trying them out.
Right.
And then they like did a whole day's work, maybe 2 days work. And then they're like, we didn't invite them back. And then they're like, hi, are you going to pay me for that? And they're like, pay you?
You were on camera. What do you mean?
Yeah. Totally.
Free promo. Oh my God, you don't get bigger than this. Yeah, that kind of crap.
That totally tracks.
But I also believe we've seen so many like seasons of Housewives where people are like, someone slid in my DMs and said this, said that. I absolutely believe someone's probably shopping some kind of like, or it's probably not a real tape, but like shopping something about Sheree, like, oh, well, you know, her and what if it was her and Bob?
I don't think anyone would. I think that they would know that they wouldn't get any no interest in that. The interest would be like in the negative. So they'd probably have to say they probably have to find somebody else.
Yeah, it had to be like her and I don't know if Tyrone was out of jail long enough, but it had to be like her and Tyrone, or because I doubt. Hopefully, her and Martell aren't already making sex tapes. Like, good Lord, y'all just started dating. Like, calm down, dating. I say that loosely. Who knows?
I would love to see it though if it is available.
Oh, that would be an amazing. That would like do Kim K, Ray J numbers like that. That would be a sex tape for the ages.
Sheree, you do need a real business, so maybe get on that.
Yes, it worked for Paris and Kim. Who knows?
Yeah, it really did though.
Who are we to knock it?
Seriously. Speaking of, we get on the topic of Sheree not paying and being just so offended by people saying that. And her thing is, I just need people to get new content. And Drew says, but you did offer to pay half. And then this goes back and forth. Sheree's like, well, you went overboard though. I don't need to buy friends. And I love that Drew says this. You wanted reimbursement for a cake that was $30. And I think you posted this. Sheree gets heated, and it's so heated that you know she's busted.
Yep.
She's like, oh, that's what you do. You're always making shit up. And you posted that her vein starts popping out of her neck, and you're like, oh, she got her. She got her.
Yep.
And Drew says, I'm not making this up, but I'm now one of the people that you now owe, and I'm just asking for my money.
That's all she wants. We literally saw, like, this is something you can't deny, Sheree. We saw it on camera. They showed the phone conversation. You agreed to pay half. You should have said, if you didn't want to pay that much, you should have agreed to a maximum. That's all you have to do. Agree to a budget. I'll pay half of that. I'm willing. Hey, if I were to call you, like, if we want to do something for somebody, hey, Emily, I was thinking, like, why don't we surprise this person with this? Why don't we both put up, I don't know, $200 and we'll get them a great gift and we'll send it and something like that. I'm not just going to come to you willy-nilly and be like, oh, Emily's bank account is unlimited, so I'll just do like that. Like, what the hell? Who does that? Sheree, quit. You got to pay people.
And what does Sheree say? Guess what? Hold your breath.
Now I did chuckle at that. That was kind of
was so good. Damn. Everyone was like, damn it, Sheree, you got her. You got her.
Man.
Damn, you're so good at those.
That was the most, like, first of all, that entire scene cracked me up because that was the most cringe thing in the world. Sheree's like, wait a minute, you spent how much on balloons? You did this, and because it really like goes back to, like, you know, everybody wonders, like, Sheree, how do you get by day to day?
Yeah.
You have this huge mansion, but like, what are you doing? Like, I know we focus on Marlo a lot, but like, let's circle back to you. What are you doing to, you know,
make
all
any
this stuff
money?
Yeah, it's a lot. And I love Drew. My favorite part was this is a discount. Like, I already gave you a discount. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know what she say. I don't know what's going on. It's already a discount.
So yeah, Drew is an investor and she buys Sheree. I mean, she's not wrong.
She's not wrong.
Like,
she's not wrong.
You know, they both, this is why they are great adversaries, because they are equal on the level of like, she gives it. Well done. Bravo.
And both they both have that perfect element of like delusion and like grandeur somehow. It's all it's all like behind a curtain where we're kind of peeking like, how are you doing this? Like what is going on? What's your secret? What is happening?
And they shake it off well.
Yes.
They both are comfortable with the level of chaos and just going, well, we're fine. Move it along.
And they're both like, I feel like we all just like accept the fact that both of them lie a lot too. And we're all just okay with it. We're just like, okay, Drew. Okay, Sheree. That's fine. Because Sheree has a tail. Not only does the vein come out, but she does her hands like this. I don't know if you ever noticed, but my assistant says, and she'll do like this with her hands. My assistant, he said that. And like, well, let me explain to you. And she always talks with the hands. I'm like, oh, she lying. Let me try to describe for anyone not watching. So what Kendrick is doing, they're kind of like when you purse your fingers together, and it's kind of like it's like she's tensing up and almost like pointing. Yeah. Okay. I feel like I need to like go back through some reunions and like pull some footage.
Right. Make a little compilation.
It's y'all know what I'm talking about.
Shannon, I'm glad that Chelsea finally put a word to it. Shannon on Orange County does Barbie hands.
Yes.
I couldn't figure out a word for it, but then finally Chelsea was like, are we ever going to talk about Shannon and her Barbie hands? And I was like, that's what they are. They're Barbie hands, because they're always like, all the fingers stay together and they're cupped, and she talks like that, and it is distracting.
It's very distracting.
Okay, viewer question. How did none of you understand why Drew was offended by Fatum doing a background check on Ralph? And everyone agrees that it's too much, but Sheree's still trying to defend her wild friend through the whole thing. She's like, I mean, I thought it was offensive, but like it was, it was whatever. But Drew coming through with the perfectly delusional explanation. Well, Ralph's a junior. And Ralph's dad has a Darlene. And so we're thinking that was the Danielle. Nope. Drew, I need you to stop it.
You like, that was a freebie from Andy. You didn't have to say anything and you would have won that battle. You didn't have to say a word, but you chose. It's a classic like child mistake when kids get caught in lies and they give you way too much information. It's like, oh, you should have just stopped like along. The dog ate my homework and then he ran in the backyard and he tried to bear it. It's like, okay, no, don't believe you.
It's kind of like what Lisa Rinna's doing on Beverly Hills
with
the Kathy thing. Yes. Like she's like, Kathy was raging. Okay, could have stopped there. But then she was stomping on her glasses and pounding the walls. I'm like,
I cowered in my room. I was texting. I'm so afraid for my life.
Like, well, now you put an extra on it, and so we don't really now we don't believe it. Too many things, too many details.
Way too many.
Yeah, you got to be real careful on any true crime fan knows this. Okay, be careful of your details.
Admit only what you have to. That's it.
Yes,
that is it, people.
Only true sociopaths really know how to get this right.
Yes,
which kind of freaks me out, because sometimes I'm like, should have taken that one out. They would have believed you then. I'm like, oh shit, am I a sociopath?
Oh my, me too.
Sometimes I scare myself. I'm like, oh no.
Don't you hate, like, I can always like tell when I'm listening to an old case or watching an old case, I'm like, ooh, that DNA is gonna come back and bite them in the ass. It's gonna come back and bite them in the ass.
Pia and I talk about that all the time. We're like, there was a TikTok where this woman was like, she's at a Starbucks and they called her name and they put the time on her coffee. And she said, so I noticed that they said my name out loud and I had a timestamp, and I said, oh good, I'll have my alibi. She said, for what? For what? I don't know, but your brain just starts to go there when you watch that much true crime.
Yes, exactly.
I was just like, I'm not going to go commit a crime, but you're aware of these things. You never know when you're going to be accused of something and be falsely accused of something.
Yep. Nobody wants to be on the Innocence Project, okay? Keep that to yourself.
Truly worst nightmare.
Seriously. losing 20 years of your life, then you're like, oh, you didn't do it, did you? Wow.
Even like 1 year is bad, but when it's like they served 32 years, I'm like, whoa.
It's so, there was one, oh God, I wish there was a documentary on Showtime that was so good. It was about like the kid who was like the star football player in high school, but they thought he had like molested so like one of the kids in his house, like one of the younger kids.
Saw that one. I
You
think
probably
I know what
it was
you're
like
talking about.
kind of a famous one. It was like a case that, because it just played out recently, I think over COVID. He like had found out about him being like exonerated or whatever. But like one of his friends, like his age, stayed in his house and he would like wear his pajamas. And so like the kids and the young kids
haven't
in the house,
seen this.
Oh my God, I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna send it to you because it's good. It's good shit. You got to watch that. But I said all that to say, I listened to you and Pia's Bling Ring episode, and I'm so first of all, great episode.
Thank you.
But secondly, I'm so glad that y'all saw through the skis that was that guy. Like, I feel like he was like making himself the reliable narrator, and I'm like, get the hell out of here. Am I the only one that like? I feel like for some reason,
why was he the narrator? They should not have made him the star of that.
No, didn't trust the word that came out of his mouth. He was gross, and I feel like for some reason for me, like maybe I'm so desensitized to like random crimes, like brutal, like I don't know, maybe we're all just desensitized to stuff. But for some reason, there is something about a thief that boils my blood more than any. I don't know what it is, but I'm just like, you are the scum of the earth. Like, why not just go out? All because you want to like wear some shit that Paris Hilton, or you want to do Paris Hilton's coke? Like, good God.
Did you see that in 2015 Nick was arrested for trying to get his friend sexually assaulted?
Crazy.
But that doesn't, that in a gross way, doesn't that track, because he is that vile? He's vile. And I have a lot, like, the more I think about that bling ring, the more I think about it, I'm like, that was kind of like they gave the wrong people a platform.
Yes.
Like, they shouldn't have made him the clear star. They paid him to do like they gave him like that photo shoot. I don't need that photo shoot.
No.
I didn't need those cutaways to him posing in clothes. In fact, I really wanted him to look destitute and poor.
Right.
I don't like that he looks
his
like
business at the end.
Thriving. I don't like that.
It pissed me off. It truly did. And I was like, y'all did not do nearly enough time, but that's a story for another day.
Tell me about it. Especially because they were showing all the time they should have been doing, that they kept putting up, like, for this one thing, they could be doing 36 years. And then I'm like, didn't he do 2 years at the end of the day?
And some of them got like, oh, they got 5 years. I was like, yay, probation and community service. I'm like, really? It
was privilege across the board.
Woosah.
It was bad. I know, I'm right there with you. And the sad thing is there's like zero closure still. Like, there's like, Tess is like, leave me out of this narrative, you guys. I've moved on with my life. I'm like, girl, you can't just do that.
Right.
I know you wanted to play that game, but you can't. Like, you can't play that game.
Wasn't even that long ago.
That's not how crime works.
Right.
I'm over it, you guys. I've moved on. Okay, well, that's not how that works.
Don't know about that, but okay.
Whatever. Okay, so Sanya once again tries to explain to Drew that it was Anthony that told people about the gay rumor, and Fatum was just trying to tell her, look, Anthony's not to be trusted. And so don't be saying like, oh, well, Anthony says you don't pay bills, because Anthony also said your husband's gay, which is ludicrous. That was like the whole point of bringing it up. This has been told to Drew probably 80 times by now.
Right.
This will never get through to Drew. Drew will never understand this. This will be also said like 3 more times throughout this very reunion. And it's like, she still will not understand it. I'm
so back and forth with this too, because it absolutely, like, they're all right. They're like, she's, Anthony is the one you should be mad at.
Yeah.
100% true. But I also feel like Fatum was doing that to get a reaction out of Drew from what we know now. And then I'm thinking like, well, Sanya, you're the one explaining this, but like literally when Fatum said it at the table, they zoomed in on Sanya like doing the biggest gasp of her life. Like,
could not believe you said that out loud.
Right. So I'm like, well, she got the reaction out of you guys that she wanted, and she got a huge reaction out of Drew. So Fatum, a little thirsty. I feel that way, but Anthony's still the bad guy at the end of the day.
The loser. Ew. The topic of the dog bones comes up, and I love that Andy goes, "You love a prop," and Drew goes, "I'm an actress, and I express myself dramatically." Okay. And Andy,
wait, doesn't it shock you that no one said, like, I thought that somebody would have looped this back to Kenya at the season 6 reunion, like, well, you know, props haven't worked out that well on this show, so maybe I don't know. I'm always
missed opportunity. Oh, look, I love that you went there. I love that you were like, someone should have called. There are a few moments in this where the editing was so bad when they did a compilation, and I was like, who put this together?
Yeah,
because I think it was Drew's package, and I was like, excuse me, like, I have a couple clips in my phone you could have used that are better than this.
Right.
God, I was mad.
I know. I hate that when we feel like we can do a better job than them. It's like, well, why are we getting paid the big bucks?
Well, you want to know, it's like they're not, like, we clearly are more fans sometimes. Like, we're like, do you not understand what the gold is here? Because we do.
We do.
And Andy reads one of those tweets from Sheree that was like, Drew is stealing props from movie sets when she doesn't get the role. And Drew tries to be like, that doesn't even make sense. And Andy goes, it made sense.
So bad. So, oh boy. Oh God.
Andy goes, where do you guys stand now? And Drew's like, we're here, smiling, not losing any sleep, well rested. And it's true, that's why they're fun to watch fight. They move on, they're not upset. Like, Sanya was like in a deep depression as a result of their fight. I'm like, you need to buck up.
Right, girl.
God, move it along. Down. Seriously.
We got a lot more to go.
But they break for lunch, and Drew cannot let it go. She's like, with the Anthony thing, and Sheree claims that Drew, you knew the connection before you hired him, and they're going back and forth. And Andy is like unfazed on his phone, and he's like, guys, it sounds like this guy's just bad news.
Boom.
And they're all like, can we drop it?
Right.
Please.
Let it go.
God. So the husbands arrive, and Todd is sleeping on the couch. And it's amazing. So Todd's like making jokes, like, you guys ready? And he says to Ralph, they're going to be like, Mr. Gaslighter, why do you gaslight your wife? You could tell Ralph gets mad. Ralph's like, oh, did you say gaslighter? They're coming for you too. But Todd is like, I'm ready. Why does Kandi take care of you? Are you the wife and she's the husband? Every year I make no money. This right here was a good setup. I think Todd should come to the reunions this hungover every year from now on. It's like he's too tired to care, and he's like, whatever, fine.
Right. He delivered too. He was not letting up on Marlo.
It was perfect. So the husbands come out, Diana Ross and the Supremes.
Yes.
Perfect. They do the intros, and right away Andy gives it to Ralph with the, hey, I'm looking to get a massage. And Ralph is like, I'm laughing.
So I can take a joke.
This is so funny. Okay. So Andy's like, I hear you guys have become quite close and hang out a lot. And Todd's like, yeah, we actually went out last night. And they flash back, and Kandi's face, where she's like, because Kandi admits she's not a morning person. So she's like tired, and she's up, and she looks over and sees Todd in the lobby. Her face of like, no, because we all know, like, when you see your man still drinking, like, are you fucking kid? Like, she looks over and she's like, are you? And she walks over like, Todd, I'm not laughing. This isn't funny. This is not. And they're like, we'll wake him up. We'll wake him up. And Andy's like, is that why you rolled your eyes? And she's like, yes, because this is the reunion.
You got to be ready. Got to be ready for Marlo's lies so you can call her out. You can't be drunk.
Still drunk, 6 a.m. That's a whole different thing.
That is a whole different. Good Lord. I didn't know the hotel bar stayed open that long. Dear God.
Up. They clearly got a bottle. They got a bottle, and they just kept drinking.
Oh, they must have. Yeah.
Oh my God. Ooh. I'm like hungover just thinking about it. Ugh.
Oh my God.
Because then you have to go to bed at like 7.
Oh.
And then you just have to get a couple hours sleep.
I want. Do the husbands usually arrive separately than the wives
Yeah.
later? Okay, so they probably
Yeah.
they couldn't have slept too long because
No. Like
you gotta be
what was
there.
their call time? Noon?
Right. I'm about to say it couldn't have been like any later than noon. Good lord.
Oh God. I'm so sick just thinking about it. I have
Oh.
anxiety because like I would always get really bad anxiety when I was hungover. So like I just
Mhm.
have anxiety just thinking about it.
I know.
But that's how jaded Todd is. Todd's like, I've done so many of these.
Right.
He's like, I don't care.
I mean, it's been around since season 5.
But
Good
but
lord.
This is Ross's first. He
Mhm.
looked fresh as a daisy.
Yes, he did.
They looked fine. I can't even imagine. They all looked fine.
They did.
Could not be me. I'm telling you, my hangovers were so brutal. There's no way.
I literally I can't, so I haven't had to deal with a hangover in a while. I've like tried to like subside my drinking a little bit. The last hangover I remember was sometime I'm saying like it was a long time ago, last year sometime. But like I woke, oh my God, it's the worst because you wake up and it's that feeling when like the worst is when it's okay when you have to throw up, so you do it and you're like, God, I feel better, I just need to get that out. But when you feel it in your stomach that entire time, but you just cannot throw up, like it just won't come. It's like it stays with you all day long. You're like, oh no. I couldn't imagine feeling like that at the reunion. I would have no. That's probably why Kandi was so
sick.
nervous. Right.
I can't come in. Someone go into work for me.
Right. Can't do it. Sorry. Let me call. Hey, Peter Thomas, you available? I need you to come to the reunion for me.
You are Todd today.
Right. That would have been a dope ass reunion. Good
right?
Lord. So
like,
much.
I'm speaking on behalf of Todd. Peter would just show up wasted too.
Right. He'd probably bring Apollo too. That'd be a mess. A mess.
So glad Apollo wasn't there.
Good Lord.
Thank God they didn't be Apollo. Come on out.
Right. No one needs that little scarf anymore.
No one needs your tiny Peter and Apollo with their tiny scarf team.
Yes. I don't know where this trend came from.
The inexplicable tiny scarves. They wear tiny scarves to the beach. They have like their bathing suits on and they have little tiny scarves.
A Speedo and a scarf, that little bitty ass scarf. Oh Lord. No, get it out of here.
Ross in his sexy ass voice, he talks about how because Andy's like, how'd you guys get on the same page? He's like, well, I had a talk with my mom about like parenting, and so I teach, I'm there to teach him how to be a man, and he gets to be her little baby. And I was like, say that again. Say it 100 times. Oh, my word. And then he goes, okay, so, we've seen you be cool all season and everyone kind of knows where it's going. And then we get to Jamaica and we see you jump in and protect your wife. What brought that out in you? Such a stupid question. Like,
right.
I'm like, thanks, Andy. Like, you could prompt a little bit better.
Right.
And he goes, I just wanted to de-escalate the situation and let them know I didn't appreciate what was going on. And Andy asks how he felt about what Kenya said. And Ross admits that he didn't think that was the right word to use. Very well done.
She owned it.
What, Kenya? Boom. Kenya says that she says we saw each other the next day at the airport. So like they were fine, but she still likes to clarify that she never thought he would do anything to them. I never thought you were going to attack us or anything like that. And then Todd, I was a little nervous though. I did not see that coming and I loved it.
I know. Can I just say, I love the fact that she made it a point to apologize publicly, because my biggest pet peeve is when like people come to the reunion or like whatever, like any reality show, they come to like something where they're talking about it and they're like, okay, but I already apologized to you for that, so why are you bringing it back up? It's like, no, you apologized to me over text message to me, but you embarrassed me publicly. You went on social media and called me everything but a child of God, and you've been on this show talking shit the entire season. No, you need to say something publicly. And I'm glad she was self-conscious enough to know, like, okay, yes, I apologize to him in the airport. They didn't air it. Let me say something publicly to him, since people might not see my tweets or whatever it is, so people will know I don't think this man is a bad guy. Because there are people like the fandom sometimes can be
they latch on to things. Even and so it's like, could have been like low-hanging fruit. They latch on to it.
Like people, and that could have been his dog tag forever.
people still write, Gia does coke in the bathroom.
Good
People
Lord.
still comment that.
It's so stupid.
I can't believe that. I'm like, God, get a new line. Like, we all by now
Ugh.
know that it was an analogy. Are you fucking kidding?
Right.
But
It's
people
so
will, but that's what fans do. And that's why veterans get freaked out when you say something. Because they know, they're like, here we go. That's what happens. And the fans don't drop it. And so as much as it's like, yeah, they're stupid, it still happens and it doesn't stop. It doesn't go away.
It's why they don't let reality stars grow like ever.
And that's
like,
so
there are
annoying.
a lot of people. It's so annoying because like there are so many people that like the season whatever person is not the same as like 10 years later if they've been on this show for that long. So it's so annoying when someone's like, well, I didn't forget in season 3, episode 5, when she said, I'm like, girl, how the hell you remember that? Like, we really?
I feel the same exact way. I don't like when people, because it, then what do you want them to do? Be forever apologizing for something they did before? They can never be forgiven for that?
Right.
Then they should just quit then. And then just go away forever.
Right.
Believe me, some things are unforgivable, and that's why people are then fired for them and never can come back. But if they aren't fired and they're going to be here and they're going to be remorseful, we cannot keep reminding them of the things that they've done.
Hello.
Otherwise, what's the point?
Right.
It makes me crazy when people do that. Let the growth is the best part. That's what we're here to watch. That's why when housewives stop having the ability to grow, like Vicky Gunvalson, when there's like an inability to grow, or like God, who else can I think of? Dorinda. Like when it's just like a refusal to evolve, that's when they need to take a break.
Yes.
Because it's like, where are we going from here? Nowhere.
Exactly. That's why I hate to say it because I want her back so bad, but it's why Nene couldn't be on this show anymore. Like, what can you do? For a while, she wouldn't film with the cast. She would like bring her own friends around to events and stuff. And it's like, what do you do? Like, you know, clearly you think you're better than everyone, but it's like, as a fan, it's so frustrating because it's like, this isn't going to go the way you think it is. It's like, just show up, just do the work, just film with these people. That's why, like, I appreciate other shows where like Jackie Christie has been on Basketball Wives for so long, but Jackie Christie is still the messiest person on TV. Like, she doesn't care. She thinks these young girls are her sisters and she's doing this and that, and she's still keeping a mess. And I'm like, see, you can never pay Jackie Christie enough to think that she's true bigger veteran. And true veteran. I love it.
I've been watching, I started at season 2, Atlanta, and have just been letting it play through. And I think what I find the most fascinating about starting from, because I'll watch 1, but I kind of like to just skip to 2 because that's when they get the music together. Because in the first one, they do the thing where they play the score the whole time, like they play the music throughout the whole thing. So it kind of feels, the whole time you're watching 1, you're like, it feels like they're about to get to the next point, but you're like they haven't figured out how to do the music yet, the score, you know what I mean? So what's fascinating about watching it is watching Nene. Like, you watch her be the star, obviously, but then you watch her major paranoia start to click, and then you're like, oh shit, it starts to go off, and then you can kind of see when it shifts too much, and you're like, no, we're losing her. That's when you can start to see you start losing her at a certain point, and then there's no recovering her.
Her and Kandi just were not destined to be friends, because Kandi came on, and the problem wasn't a problem for Kandi, but the problem with Kandi for Nene was that most of the people like watching this show knew who Kandi was. Escape had hit after hit after, like, everyone knew, like, that's Tiny's best friend, that's Escape, like, you know Kandi Burruss. And I felt like this show was so new and they didn't need any known people, so then when they got a known person on the show, it was like, oh, I feel like that dynamic was gonna be doomed forever. And it sucks because like Kandi is so like not ego driven that she's just like, I'm here, they offered me the role, you know, like they offered it to me, it's whatever. And Nene's like, this bitch is coming from my spot, I don't like this. And oh, she's helping Kim, she's
and I was like, and then Kim. And then Kim gets successful hanging with Kim. Oh, bad combination.
All bad.
Speaking of Kandi, we get her package. And I completely forgot that Andy wore vibrating panties on Watch What Happens Live. Yes. I completely forgot about that.
And Marlo kept buzzing them. Yeah,
totally forgot. Viewer question for Marlo. You had a lot of things to say about Todd and Kandi when you were in New York with Sheree. Why are you always coming for your friends' relationships, but you're not willing to discuss your own situationships? Which I liked the shade that viewer put in with situationships, not relationships. Like,
right.
Well worded, well done. And Marlo does. This is why I was disappointed in Marlo. She didn't she kind of kept dodging like the real naughty, dirty stuff she did, the stuff she shouldn't have done, and being like, that was not my place. And I apologize, Todd. And Todd's like, okay.
Right.
And then Marlo goes, you're easier than the ladies, Todd. So I'll just keep my mouth closed. And I'm like, I don't like when you act like this. I don't like when you go to this totally different persona.
It's
like
so
teacher's pet.
Weird. Yes. And it's like one of the reasons why Marlo right now, at least, won't be a Kenya. And I mean that compliment Kenya in the highest regard.
Yes.
One reason she can't be is because Kenya will stand 10 toes down in the stuff that she says. But Marlo has come here clearly. This 3-part reunion was a way in her mind to like do damage control. No, they think that I'm this, they think that I'm that. Nope, I got to change the narrative. I'm gonna, and I'm like, that's not the Marlo. Like Marlo, okay, maybe hot top. Marlo kind of carried this mess on her back this year. Like she kept the mess going.
Yeah.
And that's the Marlo that we want to see this reunion. That's the Marlo we want to go see going forward. I know she's got to remember, like, I think she's seeing like Kenya get so much love for being such a mature person now. But I'm like, we've seen Kenya evolve over 10 years. Like you're trying to have this like big arc within a season. And it's like, no, I don't know about that, sis.
That's a great point because she wasn't willing to live in the villain role.
Right.
You were the villain, but now you're trying to simultaneously play the victim.
Right.
And or the underdog, rather.
And that scares me because what does it leave her for next season?
Exactly. So what are you going to come back and be what? What's the character? Because what she could have been doing is, I don't know. I've heard a lot of stuff. I've heard quite a few things, and my situationships just aren't messy. So there's nothing to discuss. Instead, it's, I shouldn't have done that. And you're right. But Kenya to a fault would stay right in it.
Yep.
To a fault. And you would be going crazy because you're like, she's lying. She's lying.
Yeah.
And it would make you nuts because it's like lying. You're lying. And she would just keep it going.
God.
So viewer question for Todd. Sheree said the streets were talking and that you've been cheating. Is it true? Because Kandi said your sex life has been lacking. And Todd's like, the streets are always talking. But then Andy does ask Sheree to clarify. And here we go. She backs off just like a little wussy pussy.
Once again.
She goes, I was just piggybacking off of what Marlo had said. What? God. Lame.
So that's both Lame. Of them. See that they were never like, I wanted to argue that they were in the right seats so bad, but you just can't make that argument. Because it's like, if you're not going to say all this shit, like thinking that they're not going to see it on a national TV show, but then you get to the reunion and you're like, oh no, it's just no, you got to stand in it. You're a housewife. If Candace was getting all this, like if Candace would have said all this crap, she would have absolutely backed it up. She would have had some tweets to go along with
to
it,
a fault
correspond with
again.
It, to a fault. Yes.
Candace would be like, and I did. I said that.
Where is your income, Roach?
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of how Candace started with the whole thing about Ashley. Like, are we having a baby? Or are we having a corona? And it's like, she realized like maybe right after she said that like, this is kind of ludicrous. Like she could totally be drinking and still be trying to get pregnant. Right. Because every other person there was like, I also got pregnant and was drinking. And like, what do you, yep. She's like, I will ride this all the way through to the end, even through the last part of the reunion.
Because I think at one point she said, well, the Surgeon General says that he shouldn't be. I'm like, what? Where are we going with this?
But that is the mark.
That's what we want.
What did you, so I put in my caption today when I talked about it, I said that Sheree, we needed to not have, Did I say that, Sheree? But I liked what Kendrick said. What did I say, Sheree? That is what Sheree's title is. What did I say, Sheree? Because everything was like, what did I say? Oh, did I say that? Sheree.
It's so annoying.
That's no.
God. And it's bad because she's the only OG up here. It's like, you should know how this goes by now.
And you can tell she's like, honestly, if this was her first season, very first, I don't think she'd be invited back with this reunion performance.
I don't know either.
This is not a good enough performance.
No.
So I know that's a bold statement, but I'm like, you can't act like you don't remember saying half the shit you said because they keep flashing back to it.
Because it's so annoying. It's like, we want you to stand in your mess. That's how you do it. And so oh boy, that's what really annoys me, because Sheree and Marlo are doing this thing where they're just trying to, like, they're taking two different approaches to get to the same thing. Sheree is trying to make people physically say what she said. She's like, you don't remember shit I said. Like, what are you talking about? Right. And then Marlo is just trying to be like, oh no, what was me? I'm so sorry. I'm falling on my sword. It's going to make me so mad if Beverly Hills does a better job at this reunion, like owning shit or like playing whatever like role they do, because I can imagine like Erica Jane constantly saying like, well, you said this, and then Erica's like, well, yeah, because you said this, and you said like, oh, I'm like, okay, that's what Sheree should have been doing at this reunion. You should have been backing all the shit that you're talking up, and
which
we're not getting
she
that.
Normally does,
right? Who
is this Sheree? It's because she knows She by Sheree isn't done.
Oh, you think that was in the back of her head the whole time?
I think so.
I think, my theory was she really did not want filming to end because she knew she had to go home and get a website together. And she's like, I don't want to do that.
She's a little freaked out. She's like, thank you. She's like, thank you all so much for your support.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep needing that support.
Right. She's like, it was in vain, but thank you. Thank you very much.
All. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
This is not going to go. This is bad.
I'm incredibly stressed out. Thank you.
I'm like, she's like, I'm actually not even focusing because I'm freaking out because none of it's ready.
Right.
All right. Viewer question for Todd, which he didn't really answer, which is, why is it fair for Kayla to struggle and Riley gets to live that easy life? And he's like, we're from Brooklyn. And she's doing amazing. She has her own apartment. She's in production. She's very productive. I'm sorry. Was that an answer?
Right.
Sir?
Why does she have to be amazing and struggle and do all this stuff? I don't get it.
So give her what? Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
It's weird.
What's the status of the condo? It's great. It's renovated. Fantastic.
It did look nice.
It looked great. The piano lesson is out. Both Kandi and Todd are producers. I love that she's gone right back into producing another Broadway show. That was great advice from Todd.
Yes.
I will give him props for that. He's like, so what? So you failed. Do it again and again and again, because it's proof that you want to be in that space. And I said, oh, that's why you're a great partner.
Love that.
I like that. This was very interesting, the way Kandi clarifies what she meant by, I don't want him to remarry if I were to pass away. And she said that, and this makes total sense. When she said it, she said, my great grandfather remarried. And then when he passed, it went to his new wife, and that became a whole big problem. And I was like, oh yeah. Because that would be a problem.
If I was Kandi, it wouldn't even be an issue for me, honestly. I would be like, okay, I'm doing this will myself.
Right.
If I die, I'm split. I'm deciding who gets everything.
Yeah.
You get a settlement. You get a settlement. You get a settlement.
I was gonna say.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Todd. We love you.
Sorry,
we don't need Todd in charge of shit. Nope.
Bye-bye. It's just that there's too much at stake.
Way too much.
Like, here you go, Todd. You get your amount. Do whatever the hell you want with that. But like my stuff that I had, there's so much control over what it's doing afterwards. Okay?
Right.
No.
Sorry. Nope.
I love the way Andy introduces Drew's package. He goes, well, Drew, this season, what you dropped in pounds, you gained in drama. And Drew goes, ah, like, she's like, excuse me. She didn't see it coming.
Her and those sound effects. My God.
She's like, it was really funny. But okay, this is where I was very mad at the editors. Whoever put this together did not understand what the funny moments were. Okay.
Right.
For example, because this is one of my favorite things Kandi said. When Kandi goes, yeah, she got a mommy makeover, but you're still thick, Henny, is what she said. But they just put, but you're still thick. And they cut it. I'm like, excuse me, why would you cut it there?
Right.
Or when Marlo says, no, we couldn't get on. Why did they not leave in? Ooh, so many people.
God, so
I'm
bad.
Like, where you guys are usually very funny. What is your problem?
It should have been like the next level of editing. It should have been amazing.
Because Drew's package really has so much content. Because Drew truly is
it's gonna be fun.
Comedy.
It's gonna be fun.
Come on now. They left out so many good moments. Mm-hmm. They truly did. Ralph does show some remorse for the way he says that the love he has for his wife wasn't coming through. And for that, he's sorry. And Ross gives him a little fist bump when he's done. He's like, good job. You did that. And
had a little media training before this. Good job, Ralph.
Ross, Ralph practiced.
Ralph, yes.
This is so rehearsed.
But not well enough.
Oh, funny Jesus too. Christ. He didn't see that coming. He didn't expect to be quizzed on this. I'm like, how did you not expect to talk about the book, dumbass?
Right. You wrote it, right?
But the Drew stuff he did. The Drew stuff, he's like, I got this memorized, so don't mess with my flow. Viewer question for Todd and Ross. Do you still think the text between Ralph and his assistant were a laughable moment? And Todd goes, I'll let Ross go first. And Ross kind of stammers and he's like, well, we didn't really see her perspective, but it was still funny. It was still laughable. And Todd goes, I'm not laughing. I don't want no smoke. So no. However, Drew feels is what I feel. Well done, Todd. Well done.
There you go. Bravo.
Interesting viewer question. Why did no one check Kenya for confronting Ralph in New York, but everyone checked Marlo for confronting Ralph in Jamaica? And I really thought that they were just kind of different things. But again, I guess they kind of weren't. And I didn't even put those together.
Right. I would have never thought that. I feel like the difference was in the moment, I feel like Drew needed somebody to have her back. Yeah. Whereas Ralph was simply like telling about the book and Marlo got triggered by her own past. Yes. And so she like put that on him when it shouldn't have been. Plus Marlo didn't have a leg to stand on because of how she had just given the boys away, her words, not mine. So she kicked the boys out. So it almost feels like Marlo didn't have a leg to stand on. And whereas Kenya was like coming to Drew's rescue, and us as the fans, we all needed someone to come to Drew's rescue with Ralph because Ralph has already been a terrible human being. So
at that point too, in like the beginning of the season, Ralph was beyond.
Oh my God.
Like in the beginning of the season, I was like, I don't know how we're going to get through this season with this man.
Right.
But he toned it down. Oh my God. That dinner. Oh my God. Like they didn't show enough of that. Like I needed them to really remind us because he was terrible.
Let me ask you, are they doing, we talked about this actually. I don't even know if either one of us looked, but are they doing one of those secrets revealed episodes
I don't know.
This Sunday? Oh. Because I need a lot. I need more of the driveway. I need what you were just talking about. There's a lot of crap we need to see that we did not really get to.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we could have easily got 2 more episodes out of this season.
Yeah.
Easily. But I'm actually glad that they didn't drag it out like Beverly Hills.
I'm so ready for this.
I'm ready Kendrick, to just get to you don't understand.
Oh, I know you've been talking about it.
I am exhausted. I'm getting constant DMs from people like, did you see this? And it's like, Kathy Hilton's lawyers are blocking footage. I'm going to say this here. I'm going to say it again on my Beverly Hills. I have a true source because true sources you don't reveal details of. Otherwise, you'll never, ever get information from them again.
Right.
It is completely false that there are any lawyers involved blocking footage from being released. It is 100% false.
I want everybody to know how ridiculous that is. Certain stuff happens in the Bravo sphere that fans, I feel like, run with, and they just don't use their natural God-given common sense to. That's one of them. Another one is Meredith must have tipped off the feds. Not really how investigations work, but that's cute. The other, oh God, I had another one in mind that was dropped. Oh, this whole Married to Medicine thing. Toya is selling Neela to be robbed. It's like, are y'all kidding me with this right
Wait,
now?
does she really think that Toya did that though? Does she
apparently
really think that?
She can't, like, nobody in the right, I don't see how Neela could possibly think that. Like, nobody,
Is
that
it
is
just
ridiculous.
for the show?
Hopefully, because fans are like, well, it makes the most sense that Toya would have. I'm like, okay, we've got to stop this. Right. Well, I'm like, this is getting way too dangerous now. We got to stop this narrative because that's a bit ridiculous.
When I saw that teaser, when it was like, who could have possibly done this? And I think Anila's already making me very angry this season. Her and her husband.
Yes.
I'm already very, very annoyed by them.
Anila's like hair and the way she dresses kind of annoys the hell out of me because she does, like, I don't know if you know who Angel Brinks is, but she does like those very glittery, like, statement dresses. I'll send you some pictures, like her products, but she does stuff like that. Looks great on her, looks great on a performer on stage, which is usually what they're for. But like Anila dresses just like that, like daily, like in her confessionals and everything. I'm like, whoa, like that's a lot. And then I don't know what that bob is that she has now, but it's very thick. It's a bob.
And they're just her and they're extra thirsty this season.
Yeah,
they're doing the most, and I don't like the way he's getting petty and getting messy in there too. I'm like, you need to not.
We talked about this. Remember, we talked about the season 2. We said that people either go the way that like went where they like just fully commit in, and they're like they actually glow up with the hair and the outfits and stuff, and they really become a part of the cast. Or they go the other way where they get desperate and they kind of, they're fighting to stay on by any means.
And that's her vibe. Her vibe. It's so desperate. And it's driving me crazy. And I know Toya's, I know.
That's it.
I know Toya is problematic. Don't get me wrong. Toya drives me crazy too. But like in that fight though, Kendrick and I talked about this offline. I did see the fight between what's the new person's name? Audra. Audra, look, was Toya being petty and all that annoying stuff about her outfit and all that stuff? Yes, Toya was being absolutely obnoxious with that. I did not enjoy her, whatever she was doing. That tactic was odd. But then Audra clearly was like, I'm going to take a whole moment in this next episode and do the whole like presentation of Toya's debt on the house. Weird. And was in Toya's face so close to it. And as maybe this is how you know you've been watching a show too long, that you really do know the toxicity of the cast, that I was like, Toya was maintained and controlled. Right. She did only shove her once.
Yes,
she needed to get out of her face.
We all flash back to them standing right next to that pool, somebody almost going in, and it's like, oh boy.
And so Audra was in her, like she was encroaching so much, and Toya was keeping her hands down and like, you need to back up. She wouldn't. I thought Audra was going to hit her. And so eventually Toya, I felt that she showed restraint by just pushing her face one time.
Yes.
And didn't do one thing after that.
Nope. She just backed up. She threw her hands up. Nope.
And so that just shows you how toxic you become watching these shows, that you're like, I know. Like when Simone wasn't giving her that credit, she's like, no, Toya. I'm like, Simone, yes, she was.
She really was.
You didn't see the footage. That could
have been a lot worse because they were in each other's faces. So
and actually, Audra was in her face, and I was like, Audra wasn't dropping it, and Toya had every reason to be like, "What in the hell is happening?" And I get that Toya drives people crazy. I understand why. Toya definitely can easily grate on you, but I just needed to say that publicly. I am on Toya's side in that case, and I think justice for Toya in that moment. She did show restraint.
Yes.
In the crazy twisted world that is Married to Medicine, because if you saw that fight with Mariah, then you know that was restraint.
That was a lot of restraint. Yes.
I remember when I was watching Married to Medicine, because everyone was like, you have to watch Married to Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not anticipating that happening so fast. One of the biggest brawls I've ever seen on Bravo. I was like, wait, is this like episode 2?
Right. It was super early.
Yeah. It's like
set the tone for the season.
This. Yeah.
Jeez.
Anywho, okay, viewer question. I was really surprised by this too. Like, is anyone Drew's friend? Like Kandi and Kenya, why all the digs and shade to Drew? And I was like, wait, really? I guess like it's just Atlanta throws shade all the time. So I was like, what do they even do? And this is where Drew is really good. Drew's really good because she's like, Drop It with Drew is about health and wellness for women. And I was open about my health struggles, and I just didn't feel that support. And for a second, I forgot that like the problem wasn't the health and the problem was that no one understood what the business was.
Right.
And so I was really glad that Kandi was like, yeah, I like you, but we didn't understand that it was someone else's business that you were just now the face of.
Right.
And Andy goes, Drew, did you wish maybe that you were more direct about the setup of the business? Drew, I mean, I didn't lay out the business plan, but I was here for any questions. You really weren't, Drew. You really were not.
Because you they literally asked you in a confessional, you had to get your business partner on the phone to answer the question. So I don't know if you were there or if whatever her name was on the phone, Linda or whatever you said her name was. She was there. Linda Ellerby was there for us.
Well, and then of course, this was a good one. She could bust out. She goes, but say it to my face and not call me a busted can of biscuits behind my back. I knew that was going to come back and bust and get Sheree. I knew it would. And Andy goes, Sheree. He goes, does she look like a busted can of biscuits?
It's so ridiculous.
I can't believe you even got it out. Does she look like a busted can of biscuits? And as Sheree goes to answer, Drew stands up. She's like, I'm sorry, but and she does. She looks fabulous. She looks wonderful. She looks gorgeous. And she goes, listen, I'm not going to tell you how much I've lost because my math, but I'm just going to give you a range. And we all heard 50 to 20 pounds.
Definitely 50 to 20.
I was so glad that I wasn't crazy because I was like 50 to 20 and then everyone else went 50. I'm like, okay, good. I wasn't the only one that heard her say 50 to 20. She goes, no, 15. I'm like,
right.
I think you said
50. I'm pretty sure because in her mind, she had rehearsed that line for so long. She's like, I'm going to get it out. And of course she blunders at the first chance she gets. Like, damn it, Drew. I'm rooting for you. Damn it.
So Sheree has to apologize because that's what the audience needs. In this day and age, you can't body shame.
You gotta get it together, Sheree.
She's sorry, I didn't know your backstory, she said. I'm like, well, she actually totally told you her backstory, but that's okay. That's okay. We witnessed her tell you her backstory, but that's okay. We're gonna keep moving.
Yep.
And Andy goes, hey, Ralph, is there anything Sheree said this season that bothered you? And Ralph goes, yeah. This part though, Sheree has done this too many times in her history as a housewife. And you know where I'm going with this. This fucking you're gay thing. And when will she learn? And so Ralph and she had an opportunity just to go, you're right. Like, it's stupid. But instead he goes, you know for a fact that it's not true. She goes, how do I know for a fact? I don't know for a fact. I don't think it's true, but I don't know for a fact. And I just wanted to smack her right across the face. I was like, I can't believe you said that.
How many times have we had this conversation on this very show at the reunion? Like we've talked about this so many times. I think back to like season
Is that the one, especially with Kim Fields?
Oh yes, Chrissy. They call her husband Chrissy. That season when Brandon, at the pillow talk fight, when Kenny was going up for him, and they were like talking about, well, he they something about they kind of called him a woman, I think it was. And she's like, y'all are doing all this to kind of talk about, but Kenny is guilty of doing the exact same thing too. So it comes up in Atlanta way too often.
Way too
you would
much.
think after 14 seasons we would know by now, like, okay, let's not use gay as an insult. How about we come up with something else? Y'all have extensive vocabularies. You can come up with some better reads. You can do something else.
Thank you.
There's a lot we can say about Ralph. That is low. Gay is a low-hanging fruit. We can do much better than that, ladies. Let's try better next season. If you need help, I will write you. We can get better material about Ralph. Trust me.
This was such an opportunity for Sheree to go, you're right. Your assistant said it. I should have dropped it. But instead she's like, I don't know for a fact. I don't know. I'm like, ew, no, Sheree, ew, gross. Don't do that. And she, well, your assistant said it. You're carrying it on. And Andy asks if she regrets saying anything that she said about Ralph. And here what did I say?
Amnesia.
And Ralph goes, the thing about the dildo. And she goes, okay, yeah, I apologize, but that was funny. And that's the problem, is that you can't help but laugh. You're like,
right.
Just that's funny when she does that. Damn it. Ralph then brings up the point that once again, you're using gay as a slur. And Sheree tries to do the argument one more time. Like, once again, it's because you were trying to talk about how I don't pay my bills. And I was trying to say, like, well, it's because your assistant makes up bullshit. He even said that you were gay, like trying to make this point one more time. It wasn't about me saying you were gay. Like, you're trying to say that your assistant says bullshit. We can't. And then, of course, here comes Drew. It's weird. It's weirdo behavior. And then Sheree, you're weird. I'm weird because you don't want to confront Fatum to her face. Now, this goes back to when Fatum stole Drew's purse. Granted, that Fatum's reasoning for it was that Drew would throw the bones and run away. And Fatum was like, I was frustrated because Drew would say something and then run away. Like, she'd say something and then be like, security. That's
right. Yeah.
And so it was frustrating because she wasn't willing to fight. She would just say something and then, run away. And so Sheree's trying to do this. But I mean, once you steal a purse or you take a purse in another room and close the door and dump out the belongings, you lose. You just gotta Fatum cannot be your arguing point anymore, Sheree. You gotta, like, unfortunately, it's void.
Yeah.
And
all right, Tom.
And then here we go. Drew goes, why are you so focused on me when you should be focused on she not done still? And then we go, drop it with who? Drop it with who? Drop it with who? And Drew knows how to come back with, she goes, say it again, honey. Thank you. And I mean, bravo, ladies, thank you very much. But Marlo, I absolutely hate when anyone on any reality show does this. Can't we all just get along? I hate when someone adds that. I hate when someone adds that phrase in.
There's a Megan Thee Stallion lyric, and it applies to Marlo so well. She says, please don't wish me well if you used to give me hell. And Marlo is the epitome of that. Like, how dare you sit here and say, can't we all just get along, when you have kept up the most shit out of anybody this season? Really, Marlo?
I hate when people, it's a very reductive thing to say at a reunion, especially. It's like, no, we can't. We're not here to do that.
No,
especially,
at all.
Can you be quiet? Like, you've also you had your moment. Let them have theirs.
You had a whole moment. We gave you damn near a whole special at the reunion, working through therapy. You got your moment. Sorry,
Thank
sis.
You. Ralph kind of gets away with, like, he's like, would you have done anything different with the dinner? And he's like, yeah. And I couldn't really understand what he said. It was like, yeah, I would have. I don't even know. It's like, whatever.
Something rehearsed. It was something like
something's over hers.
Yeah, I would have come to her differently because that's not what she needed in the moment. It was something like that. Like one of those, like, he could have opened up Socrates and like read it out of the book. Like, it was something so random.
I was like, no, all you should have said is like, I was an asshole.
Right.
I didn't let her
Own
talk.
Own it.
Oh, God. But then this viewer question is so shady. Drew, why do you have to ruin every nice occasion with trying to fight people? Jesus Christ. It's the fact that they got the question and then we're like, we'll use this one. We'll use it. Put that on Andy's cards. And Drew's like, well, you see, I trigger him. That's what I do. And this, though, is very, very telling. She says, he does woo me, but I want it to be on a consistent level. And at first I was like, well, that's asking a lot from a man. But then she goes, the high highs and the low lows, it's tough. And that is a very abusive pattern.
Yes.
That is like you abused me. Now you got to be like, I'm sorry. Here's me getting you flowers and doing all this stuff. And then it's like the terribles.
The ignoring someone, then love bombing them like immediately after, like, oh, you're upset. No, let me do all of this. And then I'm going to forget about you immediately once you're satisfied.
Exactly. Yeah. Andy's like, well, the editors had a lot of fun with the gaslighting. And Ralph's like, you did. Sure did. Loved it. And Andy really tries it. He says it to the face. He goes, lots of viewers say you talk over and belittle her. Did you watch it back and agree? And he goes, there could be times that I can adjust my own attitude. That's nice. Andy goes, are you still in therapy? It sounds like it.
Right.
Yeah, it does. Jesus. And the way Ross answers this, and this is such a setup question. Andy asked Ross and Todd, do you think the way Ralph talks to his wife is okay? I mean, Ross goes in that sexy ass voice. He goes, well, he just said it. So no. I'm like, good answer.
Boom.
Jesus, Andy, get out of here.
There you go. He's like, I was just up to 6 a.m. drinking with this guy. I'm not about to turn on him right now.
All right, now the book starts. This is here we go. God. The book questions. Andy to Ralph. So you literally didn't tell her you were working on this book? Ralph goes, I told my wife I was working on the book. Drew leans her head back and goes, what?
Like, no, that's not how that happened. No.
This was the moment I was waiting for. I was waiting for him to try to come out and do the spin and for her to be like, that face that she makes when she goes, no.
The one that Sanya hates so much.
The total screwed up face. And she goes, no, after you got the deal. After the deal was signed, you surprised me with the information in Chicago. We went out to eat, remember? And he's like barely able to look at her. He's like, we talked about this. You were supposed to pretend that everything I said is true. We're lying out here, okay? We're lying. And Andy's like, what if she said, I don't want you to write a book about my son? And here Ralph goes,
valid question.
I think the intent of this book is a little wrong. There are 3 reasons to adopt a child. The first reason is the father's deceased. The second is the father doesn't want anything to do with that child. And the third reason is, the third reason I would say, Kandi goes, well, what'd you put in the book? I died.
This was the most cringe moment. It was like, oh, what are you talking about?
Well, how did you do that?
Oh, boy.
How did you do that?
Oh boy.
He also said he didn't say he wanted to say intricacies, but he said intricacies. I'm talking about the intricacies that go into raising a stepson. He was so freaking thrown off. He was like, oh my God, I froze. I just froze.
Oh my God.
But then he announces that the book is done. And hey, the men are talking about going on a book tour and promoting it. And Drew's like, what?
Right. It looked like it was news to everybody, by the way. They're like, this was definitely decided at 4 a.m. when they were hotel
wasted.
Drinking. Yes.
Such a drunk idea. Such a drunk idea. And freaking Todd's like, it starts in Tampa. Wow. The fact that he remembered that, I was like, ooh, got him. You got him.
Bloop.
All right. Marlo and Kandi's package. Kandi, I love how Kandi, she's like, Michelle Obama, I want to address you personally. I am sorry.
I think she watches. I think she watches.
When Andy goes, well, she tweeted us. I was like, she did. I really believe she did. I was not surprised. I'm like, she might. Hey,
right. I believe it. Hey.
they get a viewer question about Marlo saying, "Hey, Kandi doesn't do anything for the community." And Marlo goes, "I was just talking, you know." I wanted them to be like, Sheree, you also agreed.
Right.
What was that about?
Mm-hmm.
Bitch. I was so mad that she was like, it's true. She doesn't. She was only in it for herself. I'm like, what did you do?
Nothing. Sheree hadn't done shit for the get out of here.
Get
Oh, that's so
out.
annoying.
And so viewer
Ugh.
question to Sheree and Marlo, why does Kandi need to be a good friend to you when you don't do this, when you don't do the same thing to her? And Sheree's like, she tries to say, well, you know, it started with Kandi not coming to me with what Drew and well, I guess Ralph were saying about me not paying bills. And I love that Kandi can pull out. She goes, well, what about when Kim told you that I wanted to lick her box? Like you didn't come to, like, we were not on that level. And Sheree's like, okay, well, whatever. Like she doesn't know how to, because she has no Sheree,
no leg to stand
you
on.
do not have the right to try to come at Kandi like you've been besties. Okay.
Right.
Do not. Please.
No. Sheree is nobody's friend. Kim is probably the only person throughout the course of this show she's been loyal to. Agreed. And she even tried to snatch her wig, so you never know.
Yes. She wanted to shift it a little bit.
Just shift it a little, that's all.
The viewer question, hey, Todd, how'd you feel about Marlo saying you're below Kandi's tax bracket? Todd says, everybody in this room is below Kandi's tax bracket. Perfect but Marlo response. Playing teacher's pet, not Andy. Not Andy Cohen's. I'm like, Marlo, this is an ugly look on you.
How much is Andy worth? Do you know?
I wondered the same thing. I was like, but hold on. Really? Are we sure about that?
I know. I'm curious now.
I mean,
I know he has a lot, but
I guess residuals? I don't know. That made me feel weird. Right.
Okay, his net worth is 50 million. And I think Kandi's
50 million.
Mm-hmm. Kandi, I think hers is around 30 something. Yeah, hers is around 30 million. So okay. Fine. We'll give him that.
Whatever.
But this is an old article too. It says her salary, they only list housewives. They talk about other professions, but they say her salary is around 450,000 per season. And we know that's old. So because Kandi, I think, is highest paid and are clocking in around 2.1 million in
for some reason I'm like I want Kandi just to get there just so we can say Andy.
Mm-hmm. She can do it. She can do it.
Mm-hmm. Andy asks why when Marlo, like why when you were arguing with Kandi in Jamaica did you feel the need to bring Todd into it? And she's like, I just shouldn't have done that. I'm cool with Todd.
God.
Todd denies calling Kandi a country bumpkin, obviously. But then Marlo goes, but I have a question. And she sets herself up so bad for this. Who'd I pay to get in the circle? Here we go.
Bloop.
Todd goes, well, see, I used to work behind the scenes, right? In your earlier thirsty years, you came to Africa. And Marlo goes, yeah, I came with all my Birkins. And Todd goes, no, you were a little dehydrated at the time. Marlo goes, I was. And Todd goes, yeah, your thirst was elevated. But now she realizes she's about to lose this. So she goes, oh, well, I'm not going to argue with no man now.
Right.
And she tries to switch. Mm-hmm. And Todd's like, I'm just painting a picture. And she goes, don't come being shady because I feel like I shouldn't argue with the man. And she looks to Andy like he's going to shut it down. And Kenya and Andy both just casually remind her, you asked him.
Mm-hmm. You opened that can of worms.
You literally asked him.
Mm-hmm.
So Todd said that she paid for her flight, her expenses. Ooh. And it was bad enough that he was saying it, but it's when she looks to Andy and he can't even look at her. And it's the fact that he's so hesitant. He's like, yeah, I heard you did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like it'd be one thing if he was like, no, I did hear you did that, but it's the fact that he's embarrassed to look at her and tell her, it's pretty embarrassing. I'm embarrassed to tell you, but yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made it the worst.
Which is, it's crazy too, because that Africa trip, one of the best Housewives trips, it would not have been the same without Marlo. Because you think about how many iconic moments we got.
Oh yeah,
all of that because of Marlo. So that would have been an entirely different trip had she not gone. And it's crazy.
Agreed.
Like, I don't know if we consider that this is so stupid to say. I don't know if we consider that investing in yourself. since you since she bought her own stuff. I don't know, but I don't know if that is. It does kind of seem a little, oof, a little
That's
thirsty,
funny.
a little
That's funny.
thirsty.
That's really funny. Andy's like, hey, Marlo, do you think Kandi's not worldwide? And she's like, no, she's worldwide. We're just in different circles. Like I could get into doors in Paris or London that Kandi could not get into. And Kandi's more hip hop. Drew slides down in her seat. She's like, she said she's more hip hop. I cannot.
Everybody sees Marlo losing this battle except Marlo. She just keeps going and going. It's like, oh, Marlo, just tap out. Tap out.
Tap out.
That's all. Tap out.
Andy's like, it was brilliant of you to bring chicken to the airport. That was brilliant. But Marlo, I love when she tries to add this in. It's very manipulative. She's like, I feel like no matter what, Kandi knows I'm not a nasty person. Kenya's like, do you know that she's not a nasty person? Kandi's like, I'm just not even going to respond.
Right.
So the men leave, and now we just get like the round table. What did you guys take away? And nothing was really that interesting. But Sheree does say that being an OG and being around from the beginning with this group, these girls feel more like a sisterhood. And then this is when I knew, I was like, oh, this is why she's playing nice. She said, and thank you for coming together and supporting me with She by Sheree. And Kenya and Kandi go on and on about how great it was to see her get it done. And Sheree goes, believe it or not, I work really great under pressure. And Kenya goes, yeah, you had me sweating, had me cussing out the lady and everything. And it's just like knowing what we know now. I'm like, this is painful. This is painful. It's a
retrospect. I need to see her bottom. I need to know how much of anything she saw.
I need her P&L.
Because I know, yes, I need to know the EBITDA. I need to know all of that. Like,
I need all of it.
I refuse to believe that people actually purchase anything from this line at this price point. I refuse to believe it. I literally get so pissed off thinking about it that every time Drew posts a picture of one of them t-shirts or that's what I'm like, I ought to buy something from this just because.
Out of spite.
Out of spite. But then Drew pissed me off today too, because she literally posted one of her products. She was like, link in bio, go get it. And I was curious. I went to look at the website, clicked on it. It took you to Apple Music to get her new single. I'm like, nope, see, you doing that Sheree shit too. I'm not fooling with any of y'all. I'm not supporting anybody ever again. No.
When they bring out the She by Sheree stuff, I was like, okay, but is any of this the shit you saw on the runway?
Right.
And that ugly ass logo on the front of that sweatshirt.
So tired. So tired.
Big old yellow thing right in the middle.
It's so, and it can't be good because that would like look like some really thick stitching too.
Yes,
that's
the
kind of like
saying.
fabric that like sticks to your chest. It's like,
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it like it feels bulky.
Mm-hmm.
We all know what that, and then like when you sit down and it like it like bunches up weird.
Yes.
No,
I'm good, Sheree. Sorry.
This last part of the reunion was much better than part 2. Part 2 was a mess.
Yeah, it was edited weird and everything, but 1 and 3 I liked.
Agreed. I think 2 had like Sanya. 2 was like Sanya, Drew, and Sheree heavy. Maybe it was like
it was missing. It didn't feel as balanced as the other parts. Yeah. It was weird.
Well, you can tell Andy really likes Kandi content. He likes talking about Kandi stuff, and like that interests him. So it's like, well, you could have gotten, and I really don't mind a 2-part reunion. I really don't. I don't know why people need as many as they do. I'm like, no, 2 is great. I'm all for it. Yeah, if that'll solve the bulk of the issues, that's fine. If we really do need 3, don't get me wrong, we need 3. The only truly needed 4-part reunion was the Atlanta one with Portia and Phaedra and that is the only time you need.
Oh, sorry.
I'm laughing because Kendrick got jumpy. So
I forgot somebody was coming here and they just backed into my driveway. And whenever like they get to a certain point, like I don't know if it's my house or what it is, like it always makes a sound and it scares the shit out of me every time. Good Lord. Oh my God. I just about jumped out of my skin.
That was hilarious. I'm really jumpy too, though, so I relate. Oh, speaking of jumpy, I think I'm just now on episode 6 of Dahmer.
Oh God. Okay.
What a great show.
Yes.
What's his name? Evan Peters.
Love of my life. Yes.
He's saying
Mm-hmm.
he is an
he's
actor.
good in everything that he's in. He plays these kind of roles often, like because Ryan Murphy loves him. Yes,
he was in Pose.
Everything. Mm-hmm.
I recognize another actor from Pose as well. He's he's solid.
Oh, he amazing. And I love like Ryan Murphy's one of those people like Quentin Tarantino. I'll watch anything he does. Like Spike Lee, I'll watch anything he does. There's certain like directors and writers that I'll watch anything. Ryan Murphy, I was never into Glee, but like once he like left Glee and started like getting the deals with like FX and Netflix, everything he put out was amazing. Like he knows how to tell a story, like Impeachment and the Versace story and what was the first one? There was something else, one of the other ones, and then like all the Netflix stuff. I'm like, all of this, amazing, love it.
This Dahmer one is intense.
Maybe the best one he's done.
I think I have to say, I think it's the most, it's the most Emmy worthy to me. I was like, this is just so well rounded.
And Versace
it's so well told.
Up at the Emmys that year, so yeah.
I'm like, is Evan Peters okay?
Right.
Like the where he has to go to get into this role. Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. But I hear that this episode I'm coming on is extra good. The episode 6. It's where we meet the deaf guy.
Tony. Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah. That, oh my God, that's what broke me. I almost couldn't finish after that because I was okay.
Yeah, that's what everyone says.
Oh, it's just so hard because, like, you know, they really Ryan Murphy did a great job of just humanizing his character because he really takes the time to like introduce us to his family, and build him out as a character, and just all of it. So by the end of the episode, you just are like, oh
yeah,
because you just, you know, obviously we know how it ends, but we're still like, we're like rooting for it. We're like, no, it can't end this way.
And what a decision to make us fall even more in love with him. Like what a decision to take us through all of that, because he doesn't do it with anyone else, any other, at least as far as I know up to this point. They even do a great job with the dad's character. And like somehow making you understand, like, yeah, what do you do if you've got this weird kid? And like, do you kind of ignore it? Because how do you accept that you might have a fucked up, crazy kid? Yeah, it's very well told.
The dad,
I think this is his best storytelling to date.
I think so too, because episode 1 really hooks you in.
Brilliant.
Such a good. It hooks you all the way in, but it keeps you all the way until it's over. And that's what's so amazing.
It's 10 episodes, right?
Yeah, 10. I think Niecy Nash is amazing because
she's
amazing. All just good. It's all so good.
I bet she better get an Emmy nom. I swear on I will riot if she doesn't, because she is so in it. She is so there. Oh my God. I've had an odd obsession with The Neighbor, of Dahmer's neighbor. I think it was a documentary, it was either on Peacock or on Discovery Plus about Dahmer. Of all the serial killers, Dahmer's my least favorite because I don't enjoy the cannibalism. It's just at a level I'm like, I don't like to go there. But when I did watch I think it was Peacock, The Neighbor what a mind fuck that she's like, I reported it over and over again, that there was something going on.
Ridiculous.
And to be not only to live next to a serial killer, but to live next to Dahmer of all of the serial killers.
Right.
Like the most sick and twisted. Like that was next to you, like just a thin wall. I would never
have another like good night of sleep in my life.
Oh my God.
I couldn't. How? I couldn't.
And like I knew the story of the young boy running out and then like the cops being like, oh, he's fine, I'm just gonna let him go back in there. Like I knew that already. So just how haunted that neighbor must be. Like I tried, like I legit could have saved so many people.
It's so insane.
Yeah. So the story's crazy. God, on that really bummer note, let's end this. Watch Dahmer.
End the season.
Let's end. And thank you, Atlanta. Thank you, Atlanta. Oh, that is I can't if they do a secrets revealed, we're not going to recap it, obviously, but
right.
This is the end of Atlanta.
This is it.
What a great Kendrick. I can't thank you enough. Well done, sir.
Thank you for having me.
We have had such great feedback. I can't get enough of the great messages that come in, the great comments. Thank you guys so much for loving this season, loving we just have fun doing it. So it's been nothing but a joy to recap. Thank you guys for watching this season too. It was kind of hard to get people into it. Right. But you said that this last reunion had great ratings.
Yes, the highest rated episode of the season. It was like on par with like, because Beverly Hills always floats around the same number too, and Atlanta kind of does too, but it like bumped up there. Like each reunion beat the last in terms of being like the highest rated episode of the season. So obviously people were rated for the reunion.
You're good at looking at ratings. I'm
always, but I don't do it for the reason most people do. Most people like want to know like how it's comparing to the show and stuff. I'm always like, okay, I love this, whether it's Atlanta or whatever it is. I'm like, I love this show. I don't want it to get canceled. I don't want it to like something happen.
Yeah.
I like keep up with it because I'm like, okay, if I get too invested in this, am I not going to get a season 2? So I'm always looking at
what
ratings.
Does Beverly Hills normally do?
Beverly Hills usually around the 1.1, 1.2 mark.
Oh, and that's where Atlanta was for the reunion.
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay. Yay. Yes. Boom. That's right. Okay.
There
yay. That is fantastic. And casting update. Apparently, we're not getting Portia back. They might be hiding that.
Right.
That might be a surprise. The only reason I'm saying we discussed this. The only reason I'm saying we could get her back and should get her back is for ratings. Was that a mosquito?
It was, and he's been driving me crazy this entire time.
I've got one coming for me too, and I'm like,
I know.
I'll kill you.
I want Portia back because I'm honestly, her life looks so interesting. I just want to see it, at least one scene. Just let me see like them jet setting off to Africa or her getting a designer clothes. Her life is so different now that I want to see the opulence.
It would be interesting to watch her in this group. I think a lot of people would tune in for that.
Yes.
I think people would be like, ooh, Kenya, Portia, Marlo.
And it'd be interesting to see who she like clicks up with. Obviously, her and Drew would be good. Her and Kandi would be good. But like, one of them, either Marlo or Kenya, is going to strike first and they're going to try to be her friend.
Exactly.
And I'm curious to see who it is because whoever the other one is, they're not going to be.
Exactly.
And I would love to see that. I need to see.
I'm still holding out hope. It is possible that they're just keeping that a secret. Because as of now, they've rumored a newbie, but it's a total newbie. So
yeah. No idea who that lady
so
is.
For the very last time for Atlanta, tell the people where to find you.
Oh my God. What a season. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
I'll see you guys right back here. Not next week.
Let's see. The week after?
Yeah, I think so.
Hold on. Yeah, in 2 weeks, we'll be back doing Potomac.
It'll be good stuff. So you can find me anywhere you listen to podcasts: Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeart, all of the places. Reality and Comics 2, hosted by me, Kendrick Tucker. Find me on Instagram at Reality Comics 2. That's TOO. Come for the memes, stay for the ridiculousness and the stories.
I love it. So goodbye from us for Atlanta for the last time this season. I know, right? It's kind of sad.
I know.
All right. Well, thank you, Atlanta. Thank you for a great season.
Bye. Guys.